What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Final Whistle. It's Tuesday night. I'm Matt Caddell here with Chris James somewhere, but we got Dan James, our lead recruiting analyst, and the one and only Justin Riley from the Bama Standard. And how are y'all doing today? Is that Chris? Chris with the
You're
polo?
always good.
No, that's Willie the winner.
Willie the winner.
Willie
What's going
the
on?
winner.
Willie
I
the
tell
winner,
you.
baby. We on a streak. Another streak.
Oh, he got his Bluetooth. Yeah, he an official old head.
I got to feel like a player. I
And
got to
he's
show you
got
the
his-
new line dance I learned, Matt. The new line dance.
And he's got his pager on his hip.
Jawbone, isn't it? The old jawbone.
Well, welcome in, everybody. Go ahead and start showing us some love. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you're watching us, you should be in the chat talking to us. If you're watching the replay, get in the comment section. We need to hear what you think about what's going on with Alabama football. Hey, and if you're here for basketball, you definitely need to tune in or chime in, I should say. We're brought to you by Workspace Solutions and Oatmont Financial Partners. Fellas, it's the off season, but it's really not the off season. It seems like every week Bama football has something going on. We got rid of the problems. Now we got the replacements, and Bama Nation doesn't really know what to think. We got Tommy Rees on one hand as the offensive coordinator. Fans are kind of pouting, I guess you could say. A lot of folks believe that we didn't get the home run hire. Instead, we got the base hit hire. But then we got Kevin Steele on the other side of the ball. Fans at first were like, huh? But now they're like, okay, I got you. But before we get into all that, just let's kind of get the overall knee-jerk reaction from each of you about the hires, and then we're going to jump in and talk about Kevin Steele. Matt.
All right.
I'll go
reaction.
first. To the hires, I'm excited. Tommy Rees, Kevin Steele, knee jerk. I was like, just a knee jerk. But once I let the decision, at the end of the day, I trust Saban. I think Justin, you had more information than I did, so I was kind of like, okay, it's a decent hire. He's familiar, but as time set on, I kind of slept on it. I started to understand and see why Coach Saban hired Coach Steele, and you saw a lot of former players from Marquise Mays, HaHa Clendix, Reggie Ragland. A lot of guys are, fans of Kevin Steele, and I think it's the right hire for what Coach Saban is trying to do. I think Coach Saban is looking at what Kirby has on his defensive staff, kind of have like a three-headed monster calling the defense from, obviously Kirby, Schumann, Muschamp. I think Saban was like, well, let me create my kind of three-headed monster with, Coach Saban, Coach Steele. Hopefully we bring in Pruitt as an analyst, and maybe Coach Armstrong, kind of having our three-headed, four-headed monster to cover the defense. So I think Coach Steele is a great coach, energetic. Players love him. He's going to have those guys fired out. It won't be no anxiety, Justin.
We're going to go back to creating it, right?
We're going to be creating it. We're going to be laying the hat. I mean, he's going to have these guys charged up. And I think that's kind of what Coach Saban is kind of going back, kind of having those energetic motivators, developers of talent back on the staff and bringing the new ideas. So that's my thoughts on Kevin Steele. I'll shift it to Dan James. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Yes, I like the hires. At first, like you said, knee-jerk reaction on Steele, but I'm gonna withhold judgment on that. I'm gonna trust Coach Saban when it comes to Coach Steele. But two things I want to see. And that's what I think we've been missing, is one is intensity and two is physicality.
Yeah.
If he can bring that to us, I think we'll be in great hands. So as far as Tommy Rees, I like a young guy, energetic. What I'm looking for is a play caller.
Yeah.
I hope we can get a chain mover. A clock manager.
Right.
Yeah. I agree.
Wake him up.
And before you say something, I know I'm talking about Kirby, but I think Saban took the approach of a Munkin and a Georgia type of offensive scheme where you're running the ball, feeding the running back, play action. You know, you have the RPO game. You can throw it. You can beat guys middle of the field, tight ends, outside, receivers, deep shots. I think that's kind of what Saban was seeking in this offensive hire. What are we going to say, Dan?
Yeah, we're not going to give Georgia that credit. We were doing it first.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Remember, blueprint.
Yeah.
Blueprint here.
You're right.
We get back to the Bama brain. We're not going to let Georgia have that.
Just mute me. I'm over here tripping.
You're about to be.
Yeah. Thank you.
Chris James.
Well,
all right. Good call. All right. So moving on. No, Chris, go ahead, buddy.
Well, at first, it threw me back to the days where I thought about those Auburn defenses that used to give us so much trouble in the Iron Bowl. You know, those last few defenses on the guts, like we couldn't get nothing going offensively, man. And that's what it took me back to. And it also took me back to those first Nick Saban defenses, the 2008 team that just abused teams, man, just dominated teams. And you know, talking with other former players, they're excited, man. Guys that played for them, they said that first off, they're gonna bring back attitude, discipline, and just they're gonna tackle. You know, we missed so many tackles. We weren't physical. We were diving at ankles. It's gonna get back to those days to where we used to make people quit. And he's a no nonsense type of guy. You're gonna love him because of the type of guy he is. Like he doesn't put up with it, and he's not gonna accept mediocrity. He's not a nice guy, and that's what we need. We need a staff full of kind of mean guys that are gonna get those guys
chewing guys out.
Chewing guys out. We haven't had that in a while.
Yeah,
because there wasn't, no offense, but that wasn't Pete style.
That wasn't.
No, it's not.
I think it also starts out strength and conditioning as well. You know. Yeah, it starts in the weight room. We have that intensity in the weight room. It should carry on to the field.
I agree.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and just look at that Kevin Steele right now. I know that a lot of fans were disappointed that Jeremy Pruitt ultimately was not chosen. You know, I think we all are, and that's what we were led to believe. And I will say, fans, I'll put it out there that Jeremy Pruitt was the guy. That's who Nick Saban wanted initially. But unfortunately, he was running into roadblocks. You know, we know the situation right now with NCAA. Greg Sankey is putting his thumbprint in it as well. So he hadn't exactly been the best of help to us. The NCAA is not going to provide their ruling until late March, early April. And guys, we're approaching how many weeks until spring practice starts? In other words, we don't have time to really wait on the NCAA. We got to start moving forward. So here we are with Kevin Steele. And yes, Jeremy Pruitt is going to be a part of this team. He will be a part of the team as an analyst. Okay. And what fans need to understand is we got the best guy in place for the current situation. Yes, Jeremy Pruitt can bring back the meanness, the physicality, that Bama standard, where it's act, not react. It's cause, like you said, Matt, it's cause the anxiety. Mm-hmm. We don't receive it, we give it. Well, there's a guy that can do that too, and that's Kevin Steele. And judging by the outcry of former players, this is the right move. And however long it takes for this thing to be sorted out with Jeremy Pruitt, we had the guy in place who's going to get us where we need to be. And that might even mean we start having an access to the transfer portal because they can't take what he's going to give to them. They can't take being held accountable. They can't take the mean talking tos. This is a different generation, and the modern player may not be able to handle it. But you know what? That might be what we need. Kevin Steele right now is 1 year away of being invested in the state of Alabama. That means after a year, he can retire. And what I look for is once that happens, he just transitions it over to Jeremy Pruitt.
They switch roles.
They switch roles. Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have sources that have told me that's how it's going to play out. But in the meantime, we've got a no-nonsense coach. You know, we got a guy that is actually going to teach this defense better than they ever have under the Pete Golding regime. The guys were soft. Let's just call it what it is. It was, and when they tackled, it wasn't like that tackle that just rattled your bones and made your grandmother shake. It was a 7-on-7 two-hand touch kind of hit, right?
Right.
Chris James.
Chris,
You're on mute, sir. It's probably better that way.
When was the last time we hit somebody and made them go backwards? Think about it. Like the last time we really had somebody coming down here, not just like secondary linebackers, like Reuben Foster era, maybe Reuben Foster.
It's been at least minimum 2 years, I'll say.
Kyrie. I remember the Kyrie Jackson hit in the first game. Other than that,
second game against Texas,
yeah. But other than that, I don't remember.
It's a whole bunch of meeting up in the hole and diving their ankles, and that's why
it's a whole bunch of tackling and not hitting. I think to your point, Justin, Coach Steele is going to bring back that standard of knocking guys in there, and hitting them in the mouth, taking that crimson helmet and letting them know, it's going to be a long day of 60 minutes. You're going to have to deal with us coming at you. And I think that's what we're missing. I know that's what Alabama fans are glad to hopefully see this year. Because listen, guys, we got so much talent on defense. We don't need the D coordinator to really be this mad scientist. We just need him to make adjustments, have a good plan, have the guys ready, know how to take what the offense is trying to do, and just dominate for 60 minutes. And I think that's what Coach Saban is entrusted. He can get that done with Kevin Steele.
And physicality. Those two words, I'm leaving it.
Yep. And what you also get is you get fundamentally sound football. You have guys in the right positions. You have adjustments. I know that was a foreign concept to Pete Golding. But what I'm looking at is a guy who's going to be able to teach and mold these guys. Right. And who benefits the most, the position group that benefits the most is going to be the linebackers, namely the inside linebackers. Like I said, man, they're going to have a teacher like no other. They had a guy that poses a linebackers coach, and really he was a safeties coach, just kind of, playing it by ear. Didn't have that aggression. If you don't have aggression and you're coaching middle linebackers, you're doing the wrong thing. I'm sorry. Those are the headhunters of the defense. Those are the alpha males of the defense. They set the tone. They're the quarterback of the field, and they are supposed to represent or be an extension of their coach on the field. Right. And if their coach is some tree-hugging hippie that does not want you to get within somebody's personal space, it's going to create a lot of problems. Well, with Kevin Steele, like I said before, we return to the attack versus react type of play. We go back to having enforcers on the field. We lose the finesse ball, and that's over. And we get back to the type of hits that we remember. I'll throw out an old name here, Cornelius Bennett. We all remember that Daniel Moore painting of him rocking Notre Dame's quarterback, Steve Erline. And then we go back to a Reuben Foster, the more the modern day. You're going to have that physical aggression that just hadn't been there. It's going to set the tone. And then I look at players specifically. Man, look at how Deontay Lawson is going to benefit from this. We as Bama fans already know how special he can be. He's going to be healthy. He's going to be back. This is an opportunity for him to show the nation who he is. He's going to step on this stage and say, you know what? I'm the next Bama great. This I'm going to be the guy that everybody after me is going to be comparing to. Not just him. I mean, look, not too far behind him, a guy we've been waiting to see a long time, Kendrick Blackshire. Mm-hmm. He fits the mold of
man, we got so many
Kevin Steele. Tresman Marshall, who we got in the portal, if he's healthy, he fits that type of play.
Campbell.
Murphy.
Chris, you're on mute again, sir.
Murphy, Campbell, Quay Russo.
Ooh,
Justin Jefferson, yeah. Justin Jefferson is Ruben Falk. Oh man, God, Tresman Martin, like you said,
about to get back.
We have about 6 or 7 inside linebackers, and then what people fail to realize is another thing is what I think Coach Saban is ahead of the pack is the fact that he brought in a young Armstrong who really could be kind of insurance policy, like to kind of be in Pruitt's and Steele's hip, learning from him. He could be our version of Glenn Schumann.
Yep, that's what I agree. That's what I think.
And preferably, man, I hope we get Sal back on that field in some capacity.
I think he is.
I think he is. From what I'm hearing in the background, I'm hearing that Coleman Hutzler may be departing, so that is a great opening for Sal Sinceri to come back on the field. If we don't go Sal Sinceri, I'll throw a fit unless we get a guy like Nico Johnson back on staff, former Alabama guy, 2-time national champion, a thumper in his own right, and knows how to teach guys how to be that. He's on staff with the Texas Longhorns right now. Bring him back home. Go ahead,
Matt. I got a question. What about this? Have they decided what they're going to do with the secondary, like safeties? Is it going to be Coach Saban and T. Rob, or
right? But
how's this going to work out?
Well, to answer your question, from what I am hearing from some sources, that it's going to be Pruitt and Saban combined coaching the secondary.
Cool. I like that. I like that.
Like and T-Rob over analyst at the analyst mode. And Saban, you think about what T-Rob was an all ACC. He played corner at Auburn, started at corner and started at safety. Yeah. So he knows about the whole entire secondary. So if he had to take on that role, he could actually move to the safeties while Saban focuses on the corners.
Yep.
No doubt.
I think it's gonna work itself out though. But it just goes to show you, Saban kept his cards close to the vest, and at the end of the day, man, this guy knows what he's doing. I mean, he's very methodical, so I think he got it right, especially from the defensive end. He know what we need to win in the SEC, and I think he got the right guy.
He wouldn't have got dudes with SEC experience.
Yeah.
So if Freddie Roach ends up staying, I think it's a great opportunity for him to really be freed up. I feel like he was kind of handcuffed under Pete Golding, and now he gets a chance to really do his thing and really build up that defensive line. We've got a nice defensive line coming back next year. Jaheim Otis, year 2, is going to be an absolute destroyer of worlds. And if Justin Aboybe is healthy, he can be healthy an entire year. Yeah. And then look at the rest who will be Smith, side by side.
Smith.
Yeah.
Both Smith. Yep. Young and Owen.
Yeah. Jamil Burrows. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I'm going to say a name that y'all forgot about that you haven't mentioned. Monkel Goodwine.
Okay.
He's on the clock. Yeah.
Jamil Burrows, another guy. I'm telling you, man, the defensive front's a lot more lethal than what they're being credited for.
And we're going to have unique blitzes. I mean, we're going to have different coverages. Like, I don't think we'll be so predictable on the defensive end.
And, we'll have more than 2 of them on the field at a time.
Yeah. You mean we're not going to play 2 and drop 9?
Right.
What was that 2-6?
Oh, man, I hated that.
Oh, we were playing that 2-6-3, whatever the heck we were playing.
With no gap integrity.
And we'll have a plan. We'll have a plan to beat Tennessee, know how to stop their air game, passing game, and then we'll finally have a coach that put a spy.
I'm just glad Henry Hooker and those 2 receivers are gone.
Well, with the right coaching who could make adjustments, even if they were here,
we would have won the game.
Hey, but that's the formula to beat Bama. You got to be a 28-year-old quarterback.
That's right.
I like that.
Yep, his NIL was with AARP. Well, let's look at who can benefit, guys. Let's go around the room real quick, and if you could pick out a player, if you got 2, you got 2. But which player stands to benefit the most having Kevin Steele on board? Matt, I'll start with you.
I'm gonna go with Kool-Aid. I'm gonna say Kool-Aid. I think, having kind of a fiery type of defensive coordinator, and he's gonna look to that secondary, and he's gonna look at Kool-Aid and be like, listen, we need you to lock down this top receiver, da 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 da. And I think that's gonna bring out another type of animal in that secondary. I think Kool-Aid's gonna have more of a leadership role. He's gonna be one of the older guys. And he's gonna, you saw him in that bowl game. He's gonna be ready to set the tone and just put clamps down on guys' top receivers. So I think I'm gonna pick Kool-Aid. I'm gonna go with something different and go with Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Okay, Dan.
Number one, the first one that comes to mind, I'm gonna say Dallas Turner, because he'll be able to do what he does best. That's get after the quarterback rather than dropping coverage.
Yeah,
that's the last time I'm taking Pete Golden.
We could just end it right there. I mean, what do you follow up with that, Chris?
I have three. I do you one even better. I'll give you a couple. All right, number one, Chris Braswell.
Just thinking about
because it's his time to shine now. He has a real guy that's going to teach him, how to get after. You remember how deadly those ends were under because basically in our system is the end. So how deadly they were. Deontay Lawson is the obvious answer,
right?
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna go with one more. Do you better? Do you want even better? Caleb Downs, because with him and Pruitt together, he's a day one starter now. After spring, Caleb Downs, he's gonna be a day one starter.
And we have all three levels of the defense being, coached sound well, like secondary, linebackers, front four. I mean, it's gonna be.
And if Sal, gets back and gets his hand on Braswell, because I still say to this day, Braswell has the quickest first step I've seen off an edge guy in high school. Like it was, I saw St. Francis live and Blake Corum when they came here, man, in that Geico Classic. And my God, man, what Chris Braswell did, man, was something. It was unreal. And I said he's gonna be special in college. And I just think he kind of got hidden behind Will Anderson, overshadowed by Will Anderson. But he's my surprise breakout player next year. Chris Braswell.
I just think he would never utilize properly.
Yeah.
Same thing with Drew Sanders, just wasn't utilized properly.
Oh, don't make me about to make me throw up. You said Drew Sanders stuff. How we lost him and he just
have it on there, sir.
Become an All-American.
Yeah, and I think to your point before, we finally got coaches with these hires that can utilize the personnel that we have. Like if you're good and you're showing it in practice, you're gonna play. Like I feel like we had too much talent that was not being used under the current regime. So that's versus offenses. I mean, both offensively and defensively. But I think if you're playing and you're busting your tail at practice, they're going to find a role for you, whether it's third down or something, for you to play. So it's going to be more guys, more rotations, more packages, just having that identity on the defensive end. What were we going to say, Justin?
Yeah, without question. Matter of fact, we're going to have some fans seeing players on the fields, looking in the roster like, where the hell did he come from?
Jeremiah Alexander.
Yes, Jeremiah Alexander. I've been saying
Jeremiah Alexander, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to take a look at something, and only because, and I won't dwell on it too long. It's crazy because a lot of fans, or some fans, let me go back and correct myself. Some fans are saying, well, look at our defense in 2007. That was absolutely awful under Kevin Steele. Was it really that awful? Folks, you need to understand something. That was Coach Saban's first year, and what he inherited is definitely not near the caliber of what we have today. And if you actually watch tape, and Matt, you were there, we did improve week after week. And one of the most two of the most impressive things that I saw from him was his ability to develop players. One of which, and y'all will probably immediately agree with me, was Ezekiel Knight, a guy that started out as a wide receiver. They moved him over to the defensive side of the ball, plays linebacker, and until he got hurt, was balling out.
He was balling out.
And then another guy, and I'll let you talk, and it's a sec, Darren Mustin. Folks, he might not be a name that you're familiar with. If you're watching 2007, until he started having some issues with injury, that dude was a thumper. He was involved in every play. His nose was in every pile. And he had that defense looking right. And but yeah, folks, understand he's a developer of talent. Matt, Chris, if you would, just kind of piggyback off of that and what you saw from your perspective with those two players.
I was telling Dan, I said, just look at this. 2007, you had a true freshman, Rolando McClain, come in under his tutelage, all ACC, everything. 2008, a true freshman, Dante Hightower, come in under his tutelage. He develops linebackers. It's nothing, plain and simple. He develops linebackers. And what he did with Hightower and McClain in such a short time, they had those guys playing like upperclassmen as true freshmen. I mean, that's what more. I mean, linebacker play was at an elite level under Kevin Steele.
Hightower was a 3-star coming out,
Hightower was a 3-star in Tennessee. and Mustin, man, Mustin was tough, man. He even got Matt Collins a walk-on ready to play.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what Kevin Steele does. Like,
Matt was there.
He has guys ready to play, and he gonna bring the best out of the guys. Like, you look at, you talked about Zeke. I remember seeing Zeke. We played Florida State. I was like, Zeke, one of the best little jack linebackers I done seen in a while, like before he got injured. But that just shows you the development, having guys ready to fire off, bringing that intensity that Dan talked about, having that development that you guys are mentioning. I think, Kevin Steele is going to do a great job. It's exciting. I'm excited.
Okay. I think we've addressed that well enough. Any closing thoughts on this topic before we move over to the offensive side of the ball? I take that as a no. So let's go ahead and move over to the offensive side of the ball. Yes, Tommy Rees. I think that's where the most problem that Bama fans are having is right now. Like I said before, guys, that this wasn't the home run hire that we expected. And let's be honest, we were kind of flirting with Jeff Levy. We were kind of flirting with Joe Brady. We're flirting with some Garrett Riley at one point. And then after all that, it's kind of like, oh, we got Tommy Rees. And then we look at the numbers at Notre Dame. I'll kind of, throw this past season off as kind of a mulligan because he was playing with his third and fourth string quarterback and running back. So you kind of got to give him a little bit of a pass there. But collectively, the numbers just weren't there in terms of national ranked offense. I think that he was only ranked within the top 50 once, and as far as total offense, and the only other category he ranked in the top 50 outside of that was rushing attack. So fans got a little bit of bent out of shape, and I don't think that they were really looking beyond the numbers. And before I kind of give my take, guys, what is your feel on this? Were you bothered by the lack of stats, or were you able to look beyond the surface? I know as players, you're not looking at stats because you know about the game within the game. But what was your ultimate take when the announcement was made?
I liked it. I was looking, it gave me time to, I know Justin was like, tell me about Tommy Rees. So I had to go on all this whole spiel about, what makes him a great candidate. And you just look to me, what makes a great offensive coordinator, and Chris, you understand this, coach in high school, to me, a great offensive coordinator, if he does not have the talent, but still is able to if you don't have all the ingredients, but he's still able to make lemonade, find different ways to score points, get guys, have different packages, be creative, got to out-scheme defenses, kind of having that approach, to me, that goes a long way. And I think that's totally opposite of what Bill O'Brien had. Bill O'Brien had all the ingredients to make the best lemonade, but yet we didn't have the best number one offense out there. He didn't utilize all the horses. He didn't run the ball.
He was making moonshine instead of lemonade.
Yeah. Yeah, he was making moonshine.
He was fermenting.
So I think this guy's young, creative. I think he's gonna, he's gonna run the ball. You're gonna see a lot of the pistol come back. I think Coach Saban loves the pistol, kind of with what Malcolm Wayne was able to do in the offense, and just feed our horses and keep the most important thing, get the ball a downfield attack. We'll be able to attack the middle of the field as well, but we'll be able to attack the outside of the field too, with receivers, Brooks, Burton, all this talent, but, a lot of jet sweeps, creativity that keep defenses on the hill, keeping the main thing, running the ball, and really going back to being physical and controlling, the game, the line of scrimmage, and just bullying guys on the offensive side. So that's my
2 words on offense: intensity and physicality.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't care. We go back to the '85 Bears offense. Like, as long as we physical, man. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as we're physical, I'm fine, man. We don't have to. We won championship playing a boring brand of football. I don't care. All the light shows. How many championships did we win with all the bells and whistles? 1.
Yep.
In 2020. I mean, with that high-powered RPO stuff, 1. So, I mean, we lost our edge, and that's where Georgia stepped in and kind of stayed true to who they were.
Yep.
And now we're getting back to that. And that's the good thing about it, is the fact that we're about to start back dictating games.
I think we get a 3rd down now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to give you guys a stat. On 3rd and 3 under Bill O'Brien, we averaged 1.54 yards.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's terrible.
Terrible.
That's horrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, when you're in shotgun trying to get 1 yard, you're in shotgun. You're snapping the ball 5 yards.
Half a yard.
Right.
4th and inches. We're in shotgun.
Yeah. We're gonna see more under the
yard. He was terrible. Terrible.
We're gonna see more under the center stuff now, I think.
Yeah.
More under the center, more pistol, different running backs, multiple, groupings and pairings. It's going to be exciting. I think he's just an offensive guy. And can I just shout out the flex Alabama did? I mean, Alabama flew their private jet to North Bend, Indiana. About a flex in Notre Dame and grab your OC, who's an alumni. I don't want to hear Notre Dame fans say anything about who's who's the number 1 brand in college football.
Right.
We're talking about a flex. I mean, ain't Notre Dame not flying their jets in T-Town. That will not happen. So only Alabama has that enough cachet, have enough pull.
No, if Notre Dame flew their jet into T-Town, we think they're going to Paul Brown High School somewhere.
Oh man,
the Hillcrest. Ain't coming to T-Town.
Nah, bro. Such a boss move by Coach Saban in Alabama. I was like, what a big flex. So that just shows you how Roll Tide. Bama's still the number 1 brand.
Right.
And looking at the positive aspect of everything, we mentioned Bill O'Brien. What you're not going to get is like a lack of creativity with Tommy Rees. Yeah. No 2 series are going to be the same. He's hard to predict.
Right.
Which is something that we're just kind of foreign to right now, guys. But we're going to be going back to the old school style of ball with some newness, mixed within it. So it's not just going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust, 1995 offense. Yeah, we're going to run heavy personnel. And what really is going to help this offense the most is what Eric Wolford is already starting to establish on the offensive line. The offensive line is going to be one of our best position groups. And what we saw Doug Marrone destroy is now become a strength.
Yeah, he destroyed it.
He was the worst. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I know, and I said this before in my previous show, that the term joyless murder ball has been the thing over the past few years. That's going to stop. It's going to be joyless bully ball.
Bullet ball.
We're going to get back to being the aggressors. Point of attack. We dictate the flow of the game.
Right.
Attack, not react. And who's going to benefit the most are these running backs. Look at the personnel, guys.
Woo.
Jace McClellan, Roydell Williams. A lot of people are down in Roydell Williams saying that he's a bust. Well, he wasn't really allowed to really operate because he didn't have a coach who knew how to utilize him. But also, this usher in the era of Jamarian Miller.
Oh, yeah.
He perfectly fits this. You know who else perfectly fits this type of offense? Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
This plays into his strengths. He's not going to be running a Bryce Young offense or expected to run a Bryce Young offense, which is completely opposite his skill set and ability. He's going to be making the shots according to what his abilities are. And all these naysayers of Jalen Milroe are all of a sudden going to start hiding, or they're going to be lying to our faces saying, you know what? I told you so. I told you he's going to be that. No, we don't need you at all. You weren't there when he was struggling.
You got to prove it to me.
But last year, guys, the stat that was really just mind-blowing was we didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher. We didn't have a 1,000-yard wide receiver. When's the last time as an Alabama fan, as well as a player, could you say we didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher?
Yeah.
That's not Bama ball.
Last time we lost multiple games in the regular season. No, we lost multiple games in 2019, but it was 2010.
We had a 1,000-yard rusher during the Chris James years.
That was all right. Back in the Stone Age.
2019, now she still rushed for 1,000 yards.
Shaw Williams, Ken Darby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, he's one of those policies that we're going to run the ball, but, guys, receivers still going to get off. It's just going to be a week by week. Sometimes it'll be the, receivers getting off, and then but I think the offense is going to look like how it was when Jacobs and Najee and Judy and all of them were there. We just we were so effective in putting up points, running the ball. I mean, Jacobs, Najee, these guys, Damian Harris was still getting off, receivers were still catching passes. I mean, I think it's going to be kind of more of a combination like that, but regardless, we're going to get back to running the ball, which is exciting. So
not just running the ball, too, guys. We're going to reintroduce the tight end to our offense.
I know.
Right.
I was about to
when we've had success on offense, it's because we've had a great tight end, an Irv Smith, and O.J. Howard. And the talent we have there right now is going to resemble that. Amari Niblack is one guy. We have yet to see Danny Lewis. What can Danny Lewis do under this system? And a lot of people are casting their glances to C.J. Dupree, but we also have Robbie Oats, guys.
Right.
A guy that can line up as a traditional tight end, but if you look at him, he can be a fullback. He can be a Justin Fowler type. He can also, in short yardage situations, be given the ball.
He could be our version of Kyle Juszczyk for the San Francisco 49ers. How they use him in the fullback running game, but in the passing game too. So he could be another one. It's going to be exciting.
So, yeah, creativity coming back. Bama fans, give him a chance. And listen, and before I move to the next topic, guys, don't be ready to cast him into the sun after game 1, game 2, game 3. It's going to take at minimum 5 or 6 games before you can see the offense start to settle in and have any kind of hint of comfortability.
Well, you know what Saban's going to do anyway. He's going to have a vanilla offense the first 3 or 4 games. He might open up a little bit versus Texas, but it won't show much. He's going to save that for when he's got to play the SEC play, when he got to play, A&M, Tennessee. That's when you're going to really start seeing how good our offense with Tommy Rees. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah. Justin, you talked about how it's going to benefit the running backs, but one group I know is definitely going to benefit, I say, the offensive line, because they get the attack now.
Yeah.
Hey, here's another group. Marvin Constant brought this up earlier tonight. That's going to benefit greatly from this offense, the defense.
They get to
rest. They get to rest. And a fresh defense can do A lot.
That's so true.
That's true.
I mean, it won't be 2nd and 2 and Bill O'Brien called 2 straight passes and we got a punt. And I'm like, what? Why are we punting? Like, you just ran the ball on 1st down and got 8 yards and we're punting. Like, no, let fewer 3 and outs, more control of the game. And just, by the time we get to the 4th quarter, we're going to get back to where, 4th quarter, you've been seeing a heavy dosage of McClellan and Roydell and Jamarian Miller. Welcome to Justin Haynes' party show in the 4th quarter. And then you really ain't going to be, defense is going to be wore out. So it's going to be interesting to see.
All right. Before we get to the next topic, let's go around the room real quick. Who benefits the most on the offensive side of the ball from Tommy Rees, Chris James?
As far as I think it's going to be, that's a good one. It may be CJ Dupre because the reason why I'm saying is because we were adding him for depth purposes. Now he might actually get some targets. You know how he likes to use. He's a big 6'5" kid. You know how he likes to use those throw to those tight ends across the middle. Because like I say, probably also Jason McClellan because he's gonna get fed.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say Dupre and McClellan. And because I'm not going to name a quarterback because we don't know who the starter is going to be. But I would say it probably is going to be those 2 guys. And maybe think about this, J.C. Latham.
Yeah.
He's already stuck anyway.
Because the reason I'm saying is because he gets the run block more.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of dropping, that's not –
Tyler Booker.
Seth Booker. McLaughlin.
Those maulers, man.
McLaughlin's going to love it.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I say.
Dan James?
Well, I'm going to go with, I said the offensive line, so I'm going to go whoever takes over the starting quarterback because, he's going to put him in a better position. They're not going to just stand back there and get killed. They're going to keep the defense off balance a little bit. I like him. I like Rees a little bit more than I put him definitely above Applewhite and Nussmeier. Now we're going to see. I know he's elite and definitely over Bill O'Brien. So and that's shame saying about a coach that averaged 40 plus points a game, but the clock management part of it and the situational game management, it was terrible, man.
Yeah.
But I say whoever takes over the quarterback.
Fair enough. Matt Caddell?
I'm going to give you 2 names, Milroe and Ty Simpson. I just think, having a OC that really is going to play, to the strength of the offense, the personnel, he's going to – we've seen the viral clip of him chewing out his quarterback from the booth.
I love that.
So I think he's just going to –
intensity.
He's going to bring the intensity, but he has – his quarterback is going to have to, take ownership of the offense and be a true distributor, manager, not manager. I hate using the term manager, but, driver of the offense, So I think it's going to benefit because those guys, he's going to see what those guys do well. And I think we're going to need both quarterbacks. I think he's going to develop whoever's the starter is going to have a role, but whoever's the backup is, they're going to be able to play too because that he's that creative where he can add a little wrinkle to kind of keep defenses on their heels. So I think it's going to benefit both Milroe and Ty Simpson.
Awesome and we'll definitely be debating this for the weeks to come. But now let's transition over to round ball. Alabama defeated LSU on the road 79-69. A little bit closer of a game than we anticipated, but we still found a way to win on the road, still undefeated in the conference. Guys, how you feeling? I'll be honest with you. I'm glad we won. I'm glad that we're able to go into a tough environment, win on the road. But what didn't sit too well with me was going 0 for 10 from the field the last part of the game.
Yeah, that was
So tomorrow we got Florida. We got a pretty rough stretch here coming up. But before we kind of look at the rest of the way out, of course, we got a big old game Saturday. Guy, what are your thoughts after the LSU game, and what's your confidence level as we face Florida tomorrow and then Auburn on Saturday?
All right, I'll go first. Since it's Mr. W. But for real, I think that like games like that, man, we used to lose. Like we didn't play great. We played all right, probably a B-, C+. Dang, still won. Games like that, we used to get run out the gym a few years ago. So I'm thinking we get refocused because we know how dangerous Florida can be. And I think that we're gonna go in there and kick their tail. I just think that I really do. I think we're gonna go in there and kick their tail and set off a fire of a new start that's gonna roll into kicking Auburn tail and kicking Tennessee's tail. I think that it's gonna be a spark plug starting tomorrow. We're gonna light it up.
All right. Of course, we're fresh off of Nate Holt's contract extension. He's fired up.
Lock that man up.
He's
now
fired up.
That arena.
And he's got his prime to win championships. But before we get to the championship, Dan, like I said, we got a tough stretch coming up. Florida's no slouch. I know their record is 13-10, but they're not too far away from having a much better record. They can be a problem, and especially if we're looking to head to Auburn, which is already being hyped up. You know, we got game day that's going to be there Saturday. It's going to be a huge game in terms of conference, and then right after that is Tennessee. The 3-game stretch is not easy by any means. Dan, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good going in. You know, we're going to get Florida and Auburn's best. You know, Auburn will come and play like a top 3 team against us, but I think this team, man, I think we're built to go in and handle business. You know, I like the attitude, demeanor of this team. You know, we just can't get in too many more slow starts. You know, I think I like Quinterly. We're playing them too much in the beginning. You know, we're taking Bradley and Sears. We have to get them going. Quinterly is going to be Quinterly. You know, I think we got to get Bradley and Sears to the game first. Quinterly is great off the bench, so I'm not so sure about Bradley sitting on the bench as much as he has been, and I think that's been a part of him playing, you know, not up to par lately. But yeah, we definitely have to get those guys. When Bradley's going excellent, the team is going excellent. You know, when he's not going good, we're not playing our best brand of ball. You know, so I would like to see us get Bradley going early. You know, Quinterly come in and get his points or whatever, but we definitely got to get Bradley going. I think that's how the team goes.
I agree. Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I think that, you know, we got a tough stretch coming up, and you know, from what I'm reading, it's different guys stepping up. Riley Griffin, Damari Burnett.
Yes, they have been.
Coach Oats is saying those guys, so I won't be surprised to see an increased role from those guys, because, you know, especially when we're finding ways to win games without Brandon Miller, and I think that's going to be important moving forward. The closer we get to March Madness, being able to be multiple and different, being able to find different ways to beat teams and different personnels outside of you know, Brandon Miller to win games. So, I mean, we got good tests coming up, and I think we're going to be up to the challenge.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, listen, we can't really afford a misstep right now. You know, we're just 1.5 game wins ahead of Texas A&M, who is number 2 in the conference now.
They're playing pretty good as well.
Yeah, so we can't avoid a misstep. We can't avoid a misstep because Tennessee is on our heels too, just 2 games back. And then, you know, Auburn is actually 3.5 games back. But, yeah, any misstep right now kind of affects us as we try to close out the regular season with the regular season SEC title. But it's SEC play, man. It's obviously one of the hardest conferences in the country. I know we don't quite get the hype of, say, a Big 12 or an ACC. But, listen, we got some guys who can hoop. And we're going to have to bring our A game if we want to to advance in March. So that's where we're at right now. But guys, man, it's already time to start winding down. Before we head out, I'm gonna let y'all tell what's up next to the viewers for each of you, how they can find you on social media. Then I'll let you start since you got the fancy new Twitter handle.
There it is.
People need to follow
me, and let me see how many followers I have right now. Let's see.
Besides,
I might be up to 3.
Damn, find me. I cannot find you. I
can't find him either. I don't feel like it's real.
In the final whistle, Dan, everything, and I can't find him.
I have one follower. That's this guy. He's on swinging on a swing.
Swinging? Oh, you doing
his profile picture.
What are you on?
I think that's Twitter, right? Twitter? That's with the little bird, right?
No, that's Tinder.
Y'all, he got a website, Only Dan's.
Only Dan's.
That's why that guy is swinging on the swing. He's like,
his name is Dan too.
But not lose focus. You can follow me on Twitter at Final Whistle Dan, just like it's spelled out there on the screen. Final Whistle Dan. You can find me next week. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Nice.
All right. Hey, Chris James.
Man, Cam Thomas is going off. Y'all remember Cam Thomas from LSU?
Yeah, he was Brooklyn.
Man, he done had like 3 straight 40-plus point games since they got rid of Kyrie. He's been going off, man. He has 40 right now, like in a 4 quarter. It's crazy. But keep it up with my fantasy. But you can find me on Facebook at Chris K. James Sr. You can find me on Twitter at Coach Chris James. You can find me, I think it's CKJ Senior 32 on Instagram, and you can find me at Batboy229 on my OnlyFans. My profile picture.
Matt Caddell, that leaves you,
man,
sir.
You can find me. We already got Football University on CTS Sports Room on Mondays. Chris is gonna be joining. We're gonna be doing the unofficial GM. Find me at M Caddell 11. OnlyFans. It's been disabled, so I got to come up with a new name.
You violated community guidelines again, Matt?
Yeah. I had to. A lot of people were trying to copy, my OnlyFans, but they got that situation. So I had to come up with a new name. I'm gonna let Chris come up with my name for my OnlyFans group. So, but serious, I don't have one.
You got a bunch of people in the audience like, I got to find him.
No. It's all jokes, people. It's all jokes.
Yeah, we like to have fun here, but yeah, great show, guys. We had a lot to talk about. It's kind of hard to really unpack everything in just an hour's time. Well, just really 15-minute segments. Of course, that's what every show after this is for. We're going to be debating a lot more after this, but listen, folks in the audience, if you hadn't yet already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching a replay, get in the comment section. Let us know how you feel. I mean, Alabama is one of the most vocal fan bases in the country. We need to hear from you. Also, keep up with what's going on with this channel. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, the developmental focus points with Bo Scarborough, Blake Sims, Christian Jones, and Trent Richardson. Tune in for that. Trent Richardson is going to be giving his unofficial story, the behind-the-scenes look on a lot of things that maybe have been blown out of proportion, and a lot of people have wrongly accused him of. He's going to bear all tomorrow, and we're going to focus on that. And if you have anybody that you know, a young athlete in the family or whatnot, have them on. This is a great opportunity for them to be inspired and see what it's like beyond the lights. But yeah, definitely tune in for that Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, the Bama Standard post-game show with me and Senator Coach Smook Hines. We definitely
y'all gonna be on during the Super Bowl.
Actually, not this Sunday. So we're gonna be off. We're gonna be celebrating Jalen Hurts Super Bowl victory, hopefully. either way, we're supporting him, and we do claim him as Alabama fans. Chris, what do you want to say?
Check out the comments and show some love. Let's show some love in the comments.
Oh man,
Let's do it. Let me look.
Thank you.
Seriously, great channel. I see a silver play button in the near future.
All right.
Wow.
Nice.
That popped up after y'all released your OnlyFans.
The comment before that says that OnlyFans must not get too many hits with all the publicity they slinging every week. Dog, Matt.
Hey.
Man.
I get action.
I know. I'm struggling.
But yeah, we got a lot going on. It might be the off season, but things have not slowed down.
Keith Holcomb.
Bama hoops Saturday. We didn't have to tell you what we're doing. It's the Iron Bowl of college basketball. Definitely impacts the standings in the SEC. Tune in and support the Crimson Tide. And don't let that be where all your energy goes, because next week is the Tennessee Volunteers, back-to-back rivals. Huge games in terms of how the conference is going to shape up to be. But until then, that's going to do it for us. Everyone have a great night and roll Tide.
Hey, one more thing.